Tether CTO says that there has been a coordinated attack by traditional hedge funds trying to short USDT. Guys, you do not want to miss this episode. See you in a bit. Okay, so there is a lot of news today, so we're gonna get right into it, you guys. Please make sure to leave a like, subscribe, join the Discord to stay up to date. And now let's get into all of the latest news, because if you are into crypto, if you're an investor, if you want to be, if you're anything of the sort, then you need this information. And I'm bringing it to you guys daily, so definitely make sure that you are subscribed for that. All right, so let's get started. This is very interesting news. We're going to get to it in a little bit. We're going to go over to the market first, as we are always starting with a quick market overview. So you just woke up. What's new? Well, not much. Bitcoin and Ethereum are pretty much the same. Bitcoin is again at 20K as it dipped below $21,000 again. The global cryptocurrency market cap is down by 1.7%. So it's still relatively bearish looking, but over the course of a week, we are seeing most cryptocurrencies in green. Although over the last 24 hours, we're seeing virtually everything in red. Bitcoin being one of the biggest losers, Solana doing pretty bad themselves as well, just as Dogecoin. But of course, that is not a big surprise. Cardano is one of the few coins that is actually a loser over the past week, with a minus 1.1%. And Bitcoin Cash also being a loser over the week with nearly 7%. And ApeCoin actually being a big winner. They recently reached $5, so that is pretty good to see as well. And the rest of the currencies kind of follow the same trend as Bitcoin as ever. All right, with that out of the way, let's take a look at the Fear and Greed Index. We are seeing a 10. That is unfortunately worse than yesterday. We're back in firm red. Not the biggest of deals, but it is worth mentioning. Obviously, we hope to start climbing out of it, but it is what it is, you guys. You know, what are you going to do about it? We're at 10. It is what it is. Okay, on to the first story of the day. Just in, Tether CTO says there have been coordinated attacks by traditional hedge funds trying to short USDT. Now, before we get into this story, let's go ahead and take a look what the community has to say. The Tether CTO himself is probably shortening with them. He paid for the PR as well to spread the FUD. They're getting spicy again, that's for sure. USDT is not USD. It's collateralized. USDT wasn't. That's why it's doomed from the start, says this person. Okay, well, let's go ahead and take a look at the actual article, shall we? Paulo Ardoino. Do I pronounce that even remotely right? Tether CTO opens up about attempts at coordinated attacks by traditional hedge funds trying to short USDT. He wrote about the details in a Twitter thread, stating that the attacks compromise a new wave of FUD, troll armies, clowns, etc. Tether CTO affirms that USDT is 100% backed. He began his thread by highlighting the tools and methods used by traditional finance to short USDT. He stated that despite the efforts to collaborate with regulators and increase transparency, Tether and the team have been branded as the bad guys. And the thread that he made is actually very, very large. It's all over on Twitter if you guys want to go ahead and check it out for yourself. Paulo highlighted the accomplishments and the efforts that the team has made. He went on and asserted that Tether is 100% backed. He highlighted that Tether has never failed a redemption and has always redeemed USDT at $1. Now, this is the last thing I want to bring up before we move forward. Tether also reduced its commercial paper exposure from 45 billion to 8.4 billion, and it is set to phase it out in full in the coming months. All the expiring CP have been rolled into US Treasury bills and will keep going till CP exposure will be zero. Tether's portfolio is stronger than ever. So this story is quite interesting, and I'm very curious what you guys think of it. And of course, we're going to keep a very close eye on the story. If anything new happens here, then we'll obviously be the first to cover it. But leave a comment down below. What do you think about all this? Then in other news, Central African Republic president launches crypto initiative following Bitcoin adoption. The Sango project plans include building a legal crypto hub, expanding the adoption of Bitcoin, and creating a crypto island, a special economic zone in the metaverse. So this is very interesting to see. Of course, it is especially countries in Africa that are very interested in the crypto. It is not entirely uncommon to see stories like this, but it is very cool because, because they're kind of more so forced to get into the crypto space, right? Because their own currencies have so much more problems. They're kind of more forced, and it's more easy for them to actually go and try crypto. And that's why you see a lot of very cool projects and initiatives coming from these kind of countries. And it's actually really funny to see, right? They innovate more so out of necessity rather than, wanting to make more money. So that is very cool to see. Faustin, oh wow, Faustin Archange Touadéra, I'm not even going to pronounce it, sorry guys, I can't, president of Central African Republic, has announced the government will be backing an initiative centered around developing the country's blockchain infrastructure. Very interesting. In a Monday announcement on Twitter, he said that the CAR government would be launching Sango, a crypto initiative proposed following the country's adoption of Bitcoin as a legal tender in April. According to Sango's website, the government intends to launch the program during a July 3rd event, in which the president, members of his cabinet, and industry experts will discuss the physical and digital infrastructure needed for the card to enter the crypto space, as well as the legal framework for the country. So this is still a story in its infancy. As always, we're going to continue to follow it. The Central African Republic is as far as I know, I haven't done super amounts of research on them per se, but I know it's a very poor country, and I know that it is a country that has its fair share of turmoil and problems in the past. And to see them working on such a technological advanced project is very interesting. But like I said earlier, you do see it more often because they are more inclined to work on stuff like that for several reasons. And here we have a quick tweet about it, with apparently a contract being signed. In other news, now this is news from actually a bit late. This is actually news from Monday, but it came out like just after my recording, so I'm including it in this video. Report says 4 billion in Bitcoin mining loans are in distress. JP Morgan analyst says price pressure stems from miner sales. Cryptocurrency related lending has become a black smudge for the industry. You can definitely say that. These days, and according to a recent report, Bitcoin's low price has put billions in mining loans under stress. Roughly 4 billion in loans backed by crypto mining rigs are extremely close to running at risk of default. Yeah, and they go on to say that, a big reason for this is obviously that the price of Bitcoin is 21% lower than it was 2 weeks ago. And obviously that hurts Bitcoin miners a lot. So it's no surprise to see a report like this. I'm actually surprised we didn't see anything like this earlier. I'm surprised it didn't default already, right? As we covered in our last market overview, this has been the worst bear market the crypto space has ever experienced. So obviously that hurts miners one of the most, right? Apart from, launch pads, miners are hurt equally at the top of the ledger in a bear market, right? So, and this just shows it, right? 21% lower in 2 weeks. That's ridiculous. So, actually did expect this earlier. Anyways, let's read a little bit more. It's being estimated that around 4 billion in loans backed by mining rigs are under stress. They are nervous about their loan books, especially those with high collateral ratios, Vera explains to Bloomberg. Using current BTC exchange rates, only 14 base mining rigs are profiting with an electrical cost at around $0.05 per kilowatt hour. Of course, for those of you who don't know, probably you guys do, but Bitcoin mining is a very expensive and time-consuming process. And not only is the Bitcoin going down, but energy prices are also going up. So Bitcoin miners are having a very, very tough time. And because of that, they are under a lot of stress and risk of defaulting. Quite a big story. It is a little bit old, 16 hours ago, so it should have been covered in yesterday's episodes. But like I said, it came out just when I finished recording, so that was a little bit unfortunate. Finishing up with a nice story, a less important, less pressing story, but just a nice story, right, to have a good feeling when we end the video. Crypto is just like the end of the 90s with the internet bubble, is being said by Maurice Moreau. And I can tell you guys what the article says, right? We don't have to read it. So essentially what he's saying is, remember the 90s when everyone said, oh, the internet, that's not going to become anything, right? And Maurice Moreau is now saying that we're at the same exact time, but then with cryptocurrencies. A lot of people still don't believe in it. A lot of people think it's nothing. But according to him, we are at the very verge of having it become one of the mainstream parts of society. And, you know, this is Maurice Moreau, right? He's a pretty influential guy. Now, obviously, anyone in the crypto space will say something like that, but it's still good to see, right? And it is, I think, a very great, whenever you're in a discussion with someone and you're trying to find the words to explain to them why crypto is interesting to you and why you think it's the future, this is actually a very good way to put it. So that's also why I included it in the video. And I just thought it was a nice little note to end the video with. And of course, you can read the article yourself if you are interested. All right, you guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please stay tuned for more. Tomorrow we are back. And in the early morning, you will have your market overview with all of the latest news, current state of the market, fear and greed index, a little bit of crypto, social media, and of course, your favorite YouTuber, Rick, at your screen. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. And obviously, I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.